YouTube. This is the luck of the Luck&Chuck.
Yo, what's up, Luck&Chuck Nation? I'm DKYG. I mean, I got first in Swiss, and I think top 8 right after. So I just want to share my deck profile for y'all guys because everybody wanted to know my deck profile. I had like a couple people like come up. You know what's funny? A couple of people came up and asked me for a deck profile, but I was like, I'm playing right now, so I can't really give it to them.
Right.
So if I gotta check out my YouTube channel, I did do a deck profile on this already, but there's a lot of things that I changed up, so I just want to like go through it for the Luck&Chuck Nation. You know?
For sure. And what deck is that today, man?
It's gonna be RIKKA, man. Pure RIKKA.
Oh snap!
Yeah, I went undefeated in Swiss and lost the top 8. So yeah, it's whatever. I mean, bricks happen, you know. That's what happens. So.
Yeah, they do happen. They do happen like that. All right, man. Let's jump into it. We'll talk about your games in a minute.
For the main deck, we're gonna start with the 3 petals. 3 petals is like the most important card. It's your play starter, your recursion, everything. It does everything for you. Gets the job done. It starts up all your plays, and the card's absolutely great, you know.
Okay.
Most important card in the deck for sure. Next to the field spell, but next is gonna be 3 princess. 3 princess is gonna be your most important like hand trap in the deck because you can always have this active at any time, being in the graveyard or a hand, and just being able to shuffle itself for cost and like tribute for cost is really good.
Oh, she'll shuffle for cost. All right.
Yeah. So it's a really good card. Probably the most underrated card to come out in the Power of the Elements. So yeah, great card right there. Next up, we're playing 2 Primulas. This card is okay. You only want to play 2 only because it's there just for the glamour search. You don't really want to like draw into her too much unless you have like full combo. But she's okay. She does come up for very niche situations like increased levels. But other than that, she's just an extender and she's alright.
Alright.
Next, playing the 2 Mudans. Field spell searcher. You search all your spells and traps from this card. It's card is really good. It's also good for going second too. If you have the field spell and they don't negate the field spell, you can just tribute over their monsters and you get a free search after that. So
alright.
It's your most important searcher in the deck next to Petal. And then we're gonna be running 2 copies of Snowdrop. Snowdrop is just your extra extender to make your teardrop in the deck. That's all it is to it. It's okay, you know. I like it at 2. You definitely need 2 if you're playing the pure one. But if you're playing Sun Avalon, you want to just stick to 1.
I gotcha.
Yep. Then we're gonna be running the 1 Hellbore. Effect Veiled Protector has some niche effects that you can do with Strena. So if you have this card in the graveyard, you tribute over Strena, and then you special summon this, and you can trigger off Strena's effect to get an extra body on board.
Okay.
So it's a very niche card, and it does come up like a little bit. It did come up a lot during the tournament because the tournament players kept making Dragos Stapelia and targeting my monsters. So this card was just helping do some extra negates. Good card. And then to round off the monsters, you're gonna be running the 1 Lone Fire Blossom. It's just there just to get to your pedal. You don't need to run any more than just 1. So, not bad. That's it for just the core right here. Next up, we're gonna be the hand traps. Hand traps are interchangeable. I did change them up like a lot during the last time I made my deck profile, but of course, playing the triple copies of Gamma. Gamma package is just too good in this format. I think it's probably the best hand trap. I still am like a hard like rider on Gamma being the best hand trap in the format. It's really good. If you could run it, run it. That's my opinion.
Okay, so you're still rocking like hand traps and like not board breakers, right?
I'm running like a mixture of both. You know what I mean? But mostly hand traps though, because this deck can already kind of board break already with the field spell. You draw the field spell plus any RIKKA monster, you board breaking already.
Alright.
That's why hand traps are just really good in this deck. And if you wanted the Sun Avalon stuff, you're obviously not going to be playing this because the Sun Avalon stuff is more engine than hand traps. And then after the Gamma, double copies of Ash Blossom. This card came up a lot, especially against the tournament player. You just Ash the Rhino Heart, and then they just can't do anything else after, because you're going to be pretty much prepared for whatever's happening in the graveyard after. So Ash Blossom is still good in this format. It is not a bad hand trap.
Ash Blossom is always good.
2 Ghost Ogres. I didn't really like the Ghost Ogres in the matchups. It was okay. This is probably the hand trap that's probably going to come out. It didn't really do anything in the main deck. Maybe in the side deck, if you side deck against like some different decks, it might be okay, but it didn't really do anything. So this card is definitely coming out, but it's okay. You can run it if you can, if you want to, but I just think it's just an okay hand trap right now.
Oh, okay.
And then last of the hand traps, running the 2 copies of Emperor, just generically good. That's all, you know, just some extra going first and second options. So.
I see. So you're running basically like 2 of every like.
Yeah. So I'm just running 2 of everything, just so.
Okay, the 2 strat makes sense.
Yeah, the 2 strat. I like the 2 strat, you know, and I have some more board breaking cards that we're about to get to in a bit. But those are the hand traps right there. And then next for the spell cards. Spell cards are just pretty standard. 3 copies of Glamour. Your main searcher plus board breaker if you do have the field spell. Because you activate this and then you tribute over your opponent's monster for cost, and then you just search 2. So.
Oh, you tribute your monsters like for cost?
Yeah. Yeah, so
kind of wild.
Yeah, this whole deck tributes monsters for cost, you know. And if you have the field spell, you're just tripping over your opponent's stuff. So this card is absolutely like nuts, crazy card. And then also we're gonna be running the field spell, 3 of them, and plus the terraforming. This card is what's make the deck run. You tribute everything for cost, and it's a soft once per turn for the tribute effect. So a lot of people don't know that, but it is soft once per turn on that. But this card can also act as recursion too, because if you have Petal in the graveyard and you still have this on the field, if Petal comes back, you can use this to set more spells and traps. So yeah, it's a really good card. It's part of this card is what makes the deck run. This card is single-handedly makes the deck run, so it's really good. And then next up is just the double copies of Super Poly. Super Poly is just probably the best board breaker right now, because you can pretty much like Super Poly anything, especially with the Garura, you know. So the card came up like a couple of times. It didn't win me like a lot of games. Well, I won't say a lot, but it won me like 2 games, you know. So it's really good.
But it did help you like play through like some boards, correct?
Oh yeah, for sure. Like getting rid of like some sprite boards with this it helps a lot. You get rid of the elf plus like the the carrot, the red one that monster negates, you know. So card's crazy. And then we're gonna be running the 1 call by. Call by, just call by. You know?
Self-explanatory. I understood. Yeah,
pretty self-explanatory. And then I'm actually main decking the 1 Harpies. This actually came up a lot.
Really?
Like against like I was going against like I said, this came up a lot against like Striker. This came up a lot against like even tier elements, because all the tier element players were just setting 4 and passing like with their board, and Harpy was able just to clear everything and being able to like not worry about back row and just tribute over and stuff, you know. So Harpy's insane in the main deck. I really love it. Alright, next for the traps. The one sheet, that's all you really need. Card is insane. There's 2 interruptions in the 1 card. You tribute your opponent's monster for cost, and then you snatch steal your opponent's card. Card's nuts. Yeah. And then the 1 Tranquility. This is really good. I think if you're playing the pure one, you would definitely want to run this, because you tribute your opponent's monster for cost, and then you can summon 2 play monsters. Oh, 1 RIKKA monster and 1 play monster from the graveyard without targeting. Okay. So it really does come up with grind game. You know, if you already use a sheet and then you can't kill them and then they come back, you can always have Tranquility for, you know, a little different setup, you know.
All
or
right.
if you have both, you can use sheet to snatch steal and then tribute off the snatch steal monster. That way they can't get it back. So you gain advantage off of this card, you know.
Pretty strong trap.
It's really strong. And then the last one, MVP. MVP is Rivalry. This card single-handedly just won me like most of my games. Because the tier element players and the sprite players could not play through this. They didn't have a way out of this, and it absolutely just demolished like those rounds. And it was my favorite thing ever, you know, just seeing them just try to struggle to get rid of Rivalry. So Rivalry is really good in this format. I think the only thing it don't really hit obviously is like Sword Soul and something like that. But you're not worried about that because you got these other cards to deal with it. You know,
I mean, exactly. We're not worried about Sword Soul right now.
Right. But nonetheless, I think you should be running this card if you could. If you have like, you know, a deck like RIKKA, you should be playing this card in my opinion. Card's nuts.
I feel that.
Yep. That's pretty much it for the main deck. The main deck is pretty cracked in my opinion. I like it so far, but there's some things I need to change, obviously, you know.
What do you feel like you need to change in your main board?
Obviously Ghost Ogre and Terraforming. They're gonna go, you know, when the Prosperity comes out, I'm gonna get the Prosperities for it. Because Prosperities, you can actually run Prosperity in this deck without having to, you know, worry about anything. So it's pretty good. Alright, let's move on to the little extra deck real quick.
Gotcha.
2 copies of Teardrop. Card is quick effect, tribute a card on the field. It does target, but it's still a good card. You know, it's your main boss monster. You want to play 2 in the pure one because if you're playing a grind game, you're gonna need 2. because one is obviously gonna die. So that's why you need 2. You can run 1 if you want, but I like 2. So
Fair enough.
yeah, 2 copies of Shrena. Shrena is just to get to all your big plant monsters in from the extra deck. And leaving this card by itself with back rail is insane because this card grants you 2 interruptions. You know.
2 interruptions.
Because if you set up the combo correctly, you can get Princess in the graveyard plus this. So you would use Princess effect to tribute the Shrena off, to monster negate with this card, and then you trigger her effect to summon another monster negate, or you can summon another teardrop if you want for another interruption.
Okay.
So that's why this deck didn't lose to Dark Ruler. There was multiple times where the deck got Dark Ruler and I just didn't care. You know.
Okay.
Yeah, Dark Ruler didn't do much against this deck. And then for the targets for Shrena, well, before that is one Kanzashi. She's there just in case I do go in the grind game and I don't have anything else. And if I'm stuck with like Mudan and Primula, you can make this and you can protect your monsters from card effect destruction.
Okay.
So, yeah, it's not bad. It's pretty decent. I really like this card. It's it does help a lot. So. Then for the Shrena targets, one Sacred Tree of Hyperion. That's your monster negate that you can summon off the Shrena. This is probably the most. This is probably the card you want to summon off the most, you know.
Gotcha.
And then one also just to bounce, like you break their board, and you can just put a card that they can't use anymore on top of their deck, and then just draw into it. So this card came up like a couple of times, and it does really win you the game. This card is just kind of like icing on the cake, you know. It's kind of like you literally just put like, I don't know, like let's say this card was like a different. Like a used up field spell that you can't use anymore. You can just put it on top of the deck and then they're gonna have to draw into it. So
Gotcha.
it's really good. And then we're running the one Aurea. This card didn't come up at all, but there is some times where it could come up. If you want to go for game and stuff like that. If you want to go for game, you can always summon this card and then have like an extra 2800 body, and also it can just remove bodies off the field without targeting, you know. So it's really, really good.
Gotcha.
Yeah, these are the 3 main targets you want to run in my opinion. So they're really, really good. Link monsters, one Dryas. He doesn't do anything. He's just there just to link off my RIKKA monsters.
Fair enough.
And if you pass with him in rivalry, he's fine, you know. It's okay. And then obviously one the one Sunline Healer just for the Dryas target, just in case I do have to pass with that, you know.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it's okay.
Alright, strong.
It's Patrick. Then for Link 2s, one Jasmine. Jasmine doesn't really come up. It's just there for just in case I get deep barrier, you know. And then Dance Peon is just there if it's kind of like the bird tail of the deck. If you get stopped, and you just pretty much the only thing you can make after you get stopped. So it's a good card. Most of the time you're gonna be whiffing though. Most of the time you're whiffing. But and then last link, I'm gonna play the one Bangle Lancer.
Oh, okay.
You can make him in the deck. If you get deep barrier, you can just make him and then pass the back row. It's fine, you know. It's not the end of the world, you know. So you don't make him all the time. You only make him when you get deep barrier. So that's only the only time where he's able to make him, you know. Because in this deck, you can't really like the Sun Avalon stuff makes this, right? Sun Avalon stuff makes this plus the normal board, you know. But most of the time, you just make it a normal board unless you get deep barrier and you just making this, you know.
Okay.
And then for the last 2, we're gonna be running the 2 super poly targets. We're gonna be running Garura and one Dragon, and just to get rid of some problematic cards that are just some extra advantage, you know.
Yeah, pretty self-explanatory. How do you feel about Garura?
Oh, great card. Card's busted, dude. The fact that you could do double damage plus have a free +1, you know, it's pretty good. I mean, you go, card gets you, except for the extra deck's pretty damn cracked, you know, love it. So let's go on to the side deck real quick. We're gonna be playing triple Skullmeister. This card was okay, I just wanted to test, like almost experiment with the card.
Oh, okay.
It was okay, it didn't really do anything to be honest.
Like, what matchup did you sign it in for?
The first player, he was playing Tier Element Shaddoll Predaplane. So, I mean, it did stop the Shaddoll stuff from going off, but other than that, it didn't really come up in any other game except that game. So, I didn't have really time to test it, but it seems okay on paper, but it doesn't seem that great at the same time. So, it's just kind of a test thing. And the fact that it's not once per turn is, that's what I like about it too. So. But this card is definitely coming out. for something else, because I just see not that many decks, you know, being applicable to be hit with this card, you know. So it's okay. Double Ghidorah. It's just there just because I had to go against a Flunder player, or a deck that's just like, you know, whatchamacallit, Anagnisters, or the what's that deck called? Math Mech. Yeah. Because unaffected cards are hard to deal with, especially for this deck. It's really hard to deal with in this deck. So having these in the side deck is going to help, you know. I only run 2 though. I only need 2. And then I run the 1 Cactus Bouncer.
Okay.
This card is coming out. This card is not good in a competitive standpoint. Locking your opponent out of special summon is really good on paper. Really good on paper, right? But the fact that most players can play around this card is kind of... It's like, oh, okay, well, I mean, I guess I'm just losing, you know, so...
Yeah, so you're saying it wasn't really enough, and it kind of makes sense with everyone, like, playing, like, Dark Ruler and Drop It still.
Right. So, the amount of times people hit this card, I was like, okay, I'm just not going to play this card. And this card is kind of a brick if you do draw it. You rather draw something else, because you want to just search it in the deck. So, it's okay. Next, we're going to be running Double Dark Ruler. Just go against some problematic decks, you know. Decks that are just setting up too much negates that you can't break through it. Dark Ruler's there for there, you know.
Self-explanatory. A lot of people are starting to main deck it more.
Exactly. Yeah.
I understand.
I side deck it because, like, main decking it, I'm not really blinding second, you know, so I don't really need it, you know.
Gotcha.
So, next, the double MST. This is going for Twin Twister. I would just try an MST just to see how MST will work. Twin Twister is definitely better, 100%. If you have MST, it's okay, but if you have Twin Twister, that's even better. Run Twin Twister if you could, because this card didn't really do much.
Understandable. Getting rid of multiple back rows is kind of niche right now.
Yeah, and then the one red reboot for the back row. Never came up, but just in case you gotta go against Eldritch. You never know when you just randomly, you know, appear against an Eldritch player. And then to run off the little like spells, I guess. RIKKA Flurries. This card is here as the same reason as like a Darla, except that you can search it, you know. But it's to go against unaffected cards because it makes your opponent tribute, and it's not for an effect, so you can get over unaffected cards. So if they're just like, if they have like a 6,000 via rival, this card just makes it tributed. So it's pretty damn nice, and you can search it too. So if it becomes a problem, you can just search it and then slap it on the field and then get rid of it, you know. And then I'm just running the Triple Color Solemn Judgment. This card's also coming out. I didn't really like it. I just ended up paying half my life points just to get negated even more, you know. So
feels bad.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, he did draw better, but at the same time, it's just like there were just like not that many times where Solemn Judgment was even, you know, coming up anyway. Because like they Dark Ruler me, cool, whatever. I'm not really scared of that. It's mostly because like. The theory was, you know, if they play like Lightning Storm or Heartbeat's Feather Duster, that's why I wanted to side these. But I felt like, because that did happen, he ended up just activating another Lightning Storm. So I was just like, okay, you know, so this card is definitely going to come off for something else, you know. I might just run like another Floodgate or like Blizzard or something, because I do like Blizzard. So
fair enough.
But yeah, that's pretty much it for the side deck, and that's pretty much the whole deck, you know.
All right.
The deck is pretty damn good, man. For the matchups I had, it was the first 3 games were just tier elements, but they were just like different combinations of tier elements. It was the first one was tier elements Shadow Predator Plant, and then the next one was tier element Sprite, and then the next one was just pure tier elements. With I think it's just, I'm pretty sure it's pure tier elements. I think Chuck plays pure tier elements, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I went against. And I went against Sword Soul. Yeah, next was Sword Soul. Then it was Earth Machines, and then the last one being Sprite Tri Brigade. So.
You say Sprite Tri Brigade?
Yeah.
Alright, cool. Shout outs to Khalil.
Shout out to my boy Khalil, but yeah, that deck was pretty cracked, you know. That deck actually gave me the hardest time, you know. But if I had a little bit more time, I could have like won that little match, you know. Because game 3, he just passed with Access Code, and it was like I had Pedal and Graveyard, and I had the Field Spell in hand, so it was just game over from there, you know. So, but. You know, it happens, you know, time runs out. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile. And if you guys have any questions, leave it down in the comments below. And subscribe to Luck&Chuck, man, because Luck&Chuck be creating some good videos, man. This good, you know, like boss I can watch just to get better.
Tell them, let them know.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Any other shout outs you want to go for?
Shout out to my girlfriend for coming and helping support me, you know. Shout out to my boy David for driving me up there, you know. Well, left ways, you know. Shout out to Patrick in the back. Yeah, shout out to all my friends out there, you know who you are. And special shout out to Cade for sponsoring me. Cade, if you're watching this video, dude, I love you, bro. But anyway, that's it, guys. We out.